What's up, everybody? I'm Lockouts, and in this video, I'm going to show you how to set up your keybinds to make you one badass Unholy DK. Check this out, baby.
Take your mouse and click the button, won't you subscribe to me? Lockouts, providing the content that you see. I'm visually stimulating your mind, 1 minute at a time.
All right, everybody, jumping right into this. I'm going to keep this short and sweet, as easy as I can, right to the point, all right? You're going to prioritize your spells to everything that you do that's around one hand. If you're still using your mouse to click on spells and people are rolling you up in PvP, or they're padding meters and you just can't get the numbers that they are and you're wondering why, it's because you don't have your spells bound, or you're using your mouse to click them and you don't have a very fluid rotation, all right? Using macros also, along with the keybinds, will help your rotation and everything that you do in PvE or PvP be so much smoother. So everything that you do is going to be on one hand, all right? Let's do this. Let's start with this like this. You operate your guy with WASD and spacebar. So you're jumping with spacebar. You have this finger usually smashing on your W button, and then you're steering with your other two fingers on A and D. Now, during your rotation, you are pushing 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. That's usually your priority keys. I have my number 1 key set the Festering Strike. My number 2 key is set the Scourge Strike. My number 3 key is set the Death Strike. My number 4 key is set the Death Coil. My number 5 key is set the Necrotic Strike, all right? My 6, 7, 8, 9, 0, minus, and plus keys are all unbound. I don't use them. Ever. Never. I don't ever use them, because if you try to reach over and you try to push the 6 key, most mechanical keyboards, it's a very large spread, and even if you have a very big hand or a very small keyboard, which is one of the two, you're pushing a lot of buttons to hit that kind of a spread all the time and consistently, all right? So unbind the 6 through plus keys and then rebind them. What happens then is the keys that are all around the WASD are freed up. You never ever use them anyways, so bind them to spells. Q, E, R, T, F, G, B, V, C, X, and Z are all available to be bound. Now I've turned my Mind Freeze into F, and then if I push Shift F, it also is a leap for my character, all right? So if you look right here at this spell right here, if I just push Shift or just F, it'll Mind Freeze that target. Now if I push Shift and F, my pet will jump over there and he's right on him, all right? Now, the next spell over is Q, is Epidemic, and then the next one over is E. So the 6 key is now F, the 7 key is now Q, the 8 key is now E, and that's Outbreak, and the 9 key is now C, which is Death and Decay. Shift C is my Wraith Walk whenever I spec into that. T is Asphyxiate, which is my interrupt or my kick on all characters that are across any of my characters. So if you watch my videos, whether I'm playing my Demon Hunter, a Priest, a Mage, it doesn't matter. T is always a stun or a kick across all my characters. Binding consistently across all your characters will ensure that you're going to jump on another character and you're not going to be like, oh, which button was it that I had that was bound for my interrupt key? Bind them all to the same thing, because no matter what character you're on, they all are going to have an interrupt or some type of a stun or something. So bind that to the same key no matter what character that you're playing on, all right? And then Z is my every man for himself, for my racial, for my passive for this guy. So 1 through 5 are buttons that I'm mashing all the time. As I'm running with W, I can reach 1 through 5, and then that frees me up to also use E for an outbreak as I'm running, and then I could, start, use Q if I'm ranged for my target or whatever it is, all right? All right, the next thing that we're going to get into is the very next bar. My F1, F2, F3, F4, F5, F6 button is the very next keys that are up there. Now those are all bound to my mouse, all right? And on my mouse I'm running a Corsair Dark Core Pro that I have, RGB edition, and right here, it's the Corsair Dark Core RGB, and this is 9 buttons that's on this mouse, all right? So this is my F1 key, this is my F2 key, on the side right here is F3, the center depress, the forward button is F4, the back button is now F5, this button right here is now F6, and then I have scroll up, scroll down, and then a center depress for the mouse button. So again, what I've done is I've bound F1 to here, F1 to here, or F1 to here, F2 to here, F3 to right here, F4 to the forward button on the side, F5 to the backward button on the side, and then F6 to the top button on the side, all right? Now, F1 is my dark transformation, so when I dark transformation, I just push this button right here, my pedal dark transformation, all right? F2 is my PvP trinket. F3 is where my thumb is. It's a button that I'm going to be smashing all the time, so that is my Apocalypse. All right, so that is a button that I'm pushing all the time. It's right where my finger rests, along with 4. 4 is the back button, or I mean the forward button that's on the center right here. That's right where the center is. And then 5 is my Soul Reaper. So I have 3, 4, and 5 all bound right in here. So you have F3 now is Apocalypse. F4 is my Unholy Frenzy for when I am ready to burst. And then F5 is my Asphyxiate. And then F6 is Blood of the Enemy for when I'm ready to burst. So I just push this button one time right here on my mouse. Look. Boom. I just popped my Blood of the Enemy right there. It's just that simple, all right? Binding everything to your mouse makes it that easy. Now, moving into the next part of it is Shift F1. So if I push Shift on this button right here, that puts me in Icebound Fortitude, all right? Shift F2, which is this button right here. If I'm in PvP, it'll start going into my transfusion. Now, my pet kick is Shift F3. Now, F3 naturally is my Apocalypse, but if I push Shift and F3, it's going to pet stun that target, all right? And then Shift F4, which is Shift, and then the forward button is also an Icebound Fortitude for me. And then Shift F5, which is the back button that's on my mouse. So push Shift F5, that'll pop my AMS for me, all right? Now, whenever I want to pop my Army of the Dead, I push the back button right here, but I have to it's a shift modifier that's with it. So I'll push Shift and then 6, which is the button that's on the back of my mouse right there. And then that pops my Army of the Dead. Now moving into the next part, Dark Transformation and all this stuff right here. These are just secondary spells. So Control F1 is Blood of the Enemy. So I could push Control and the F1 button. It'll pop Blood of the Enemy. And then Control and then F2 will also Dark Transformation my pet. Using multiple spells in multiple different ways and different scenarios and different outcomes will help you, all right? So now Shift Wheel Up, I have that bound to my Chains of Ice. Shift Wheel Down is my Death's Advance, so when I want my little speed boost, if I'm in PvP, if I got slows on me, or if, you know, you're running through a dungeon or whatever it is, my Shift Wheel Down is my Death's Advance. And then my Death Grip is R, so if I want to reach out and grab whatever target it is and pull him over here to me, so if we're grabbing Ads and Mythic Plus and we're going to help him out, we're going to push R, grab that target, and then we're going to Shift Wheel Up, and we'll just instantly put Chains of Ice on that target, all right? And then if you wanted to burst them, you know, you just push the back button and you pop your, you know, blood. Everything is just so much easier to have everything bound to one button and get used to it, all right? So again, the next thing that we're going to get into, guys, is going to be your Raise Dead. So that's next to my R for Death Grip is Shift T, that raises my pet, and Raise Allies. So if somebody's dead and you want to breeze them, so Shift R, so you'll select your little, you know, you'll select your target and then just push Shift R, so your healer goes down, select your healer, or just, you know, push Shift R and you can mouse over, it'll light up your little hand like this, you mouse over your target then, and then just click it and you'll breeze that target, all right? The next thing that I have is Control 6. So when I push Control and the number 6 F6 button that is bound right here on the top of my mouse, it'll make my pet follow me. So if my pet is, you know, if I sent him onto that target, before he goes to that target, I can go hurry up and bring him back. Just hit Control and F6 button, spam it, and it'll start bringing my pet back to me. Having control of your pet at all times, being an Unholy DK, makes you massively, massively stronger. You have another part of you that is your pet that you have to play off of. You have 2 kicks. You got a kick with yourself and a kick with your pet. Your pet's got a leap. He's got a slow. He can range your target. So when your target tries to range you, you can, you know, make your pet jump over there to him. All right, and that's going to throw us real quick into a couple of simple macros. All right. And what I'm going to do right here is just bring up my macro tab, all right? For Death and Decay, guys, as you guys can see wherever my mouse is right here, instead of having to line up wherever the green thing is and push the button 2 times, if you're playing in PvP, that'll get you killed trying to push the button twice to cast 1 spell. So notice wherever my little, my hand is right here, if I push the C button, it'll just throw my Death and Decay right there. So if I wanted it right on top of me, I would just put my hand right here on top of my character and push C, all right? And what that is for that macro is Death and Decay. It's hashtag show tooltip / cast, open brackets, the @ sign, cursor, closing brackets, Death and Decay, all right? And where that's an @ cursor macro. So wherever it is that your cursor is, it will throw your Death and Decay. Another thing that is going to help you is going to be Dark Transformation. You pop your Dark Transformation with your trinkets if you want to. How you do this one is hashtag show tooltip / cast, Dark Transformation / use 14 / use 13. 13 and 14 is on your character tab right here. Is the 13th and 14th slot. Those are your trinkets, okay? Another thing that you guys could do is to send your pet with Festering Strike. So you could do this one wherever you are hit, whatever target you are hitting with your Festering Strike. So let's say like right now it has got 5 seconds on a cooldown. Well, even though it's on a cooldown, you could still hit that button and you'll send your pet over to that target. So even though I'm ranged from this target right here, I could like theoretically click on this and it would just send my pet over to this target over here, all right? So what we're going to do now, guys, is get into a modifier macro real quick. And this one, a lot of people ask me about. They're like, well, how do you get that set up to where you could kick with your mind freeze, and then by pushing shift it'll make your pet leap, and that's called a modifier macro, all right? And what that is if I would just push the F button again, it'll mind freeze my target, and if I push shift F, it'll make my pet leap over there to him, and then I push shift F3 and my pet will then stun that target, all right? And we do this one with hashtag show tooltip / cast, open brackets, no mod, the little comma right here, @ sign, target, closing brackets, mind freeze, and that will cast mind freeze at whatever your target is. And then the next part of this is / cast, open brackets, mod, the 2 little dots, shift, a little comma, the @ sign, target, closing brackets, and then leap. And what that is when you push shift and then F, it will make your pet leap at that target. And you will also cast mind freeze when you don't put shift. That is a way to use one spell to do 2 things with your character. Unholy has a ton of spells. Simplifying them with macros, guys, is going to help you out. I have tons and tons of macro guides that are on my channel. Go through my channel. This will help you out. It'll help you get better instantly. Tons of people are asking me, how do you bind your keys? How do I do this? How do I do that? Well, I made this guide for you. This is how I have all my stuff set up. This is my @ cursor macro for my Death and Decay. This is how I Dark Transformation on my pet. This is how I kick with my mind freeze, and then I send my pet over there. This is how I do everything, all right? This is everything that I do. I also, with Outbreak, sometimes if I will pull this down here onto where my Outbreak is right here, I will... if I don't have to look at this target, I can have my back turned to him. So even though I won't cast Outbreak on him, oh, it did cast Outbreak with my back to him, but it sent my pet to him. And you do this one with hashtag show tooltip / cast, Outbreak, and then the next line is / start pet attack, and then the next one is / pet attack. And what that does is every time you outbreak that target, so if you hard switch targets and you outbreak another target, it'll send your pet over there to that target. And Festering Strike, your pet will also switch targets with you. Now, you may not want to have these bound all the time set up like that. There's different scenarios for this, but this is a way to keep your pet on your target. So set them up accordingly for different spells. So if you only want it on your Apocalypse, if you only want your pet to change whenever you Apocalypse, whatever it is, set this up for whatever spell, however it will help you. These macros, these keybinds will instantly make you a better Unholy DK. If this has helped you out in any way, shape, or form, please, by all means, like, follow, subscribe. I'm Lockouts, baby. Peace.
Take your mouse and click the button, won't you subscribe to me? Lockouts, providing the content that you see. I'm visually stimulating your mind, 1 minute at a time.